Thank you, guys. Moving on to, I would like to introduce our speaker of the day, Ms. Naveena Joy. Ms. Naveena Joy brings in over 15 years of experience extending into strategic HR, organizational culture building, policy making, and planning as areas of her expertise. Having her roles in HR manager in past various industries verticals at present, she is working as AGM HR in Superon-Schweisstechnik India. Her experience adds immense value to those aspiring to make difference in the HR field. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here, ma'am. Over to you.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Pawan.
Good
So
evening, ma'am.
basically, yeah, we have a topic in the name of leadership. Now we are actually, I was looking at the chats, and somewhere we all in the audience are in the profile of HR manager or probably higher than that. And so everybody has somewhere or the other gone through some kind of, a leadership role. So what we are looking at in a leadership role is how can we be better, or probably what can be the tools to find out how HR is basically helping other leaders and help the organization to be successful. So I'm sure that this is what people are looking at. So I think the kind of presentation that I am going to take through is basic and very simple, so that everybody understands at their own level, and one can actually implement on themselves first, and then we can look at the others as well. Okay, so fine. So yeah, can we go to the next slide? So when we talk about the leadership role, at this point of time, like, we are not looking at somebody who are, in particularly having some kind of a great knowledge or probably great skills, having many degrees, and coming from some renowned universities like an IIT, IIM, Harvard, or probably a Cambridge, or coming from any kind of an experience or so. But in today's time, what we are looking majorly is a mindset wherein a person has certain kind of vision in themselves. Vision, probably for the success, for innovation, and also a vision to be in a very renowned place where the renounce is made by themselves. So what does that mean is that the kind of change, or the kind of the policies, strategies is built, uh, is actually helpful and matchable to the organization as well. So this is what we are looking at. For the first thing that is very much required in that kind of a change is the mindset change. And when I say that there is a mindset change to it, so it has to be first, as a leader, the kind of mindset shift will give you a transformation in the organizational point of view. Okay, so when we started our career, it was majorly a one point focus. And but as a person, or as a manager point of view, or as a leader point of view, the focus is not just one focus, but it is entirely a big focus. So what is that focus change, or the mindset shift that is required is, so the shift has to be that what is the vision rather than the result. Okay, because when we have a result, or probably when we have a the kind of vision or the purpose through it, the automatically the result will come, or the or what in finance terms, or probably organization success terms, if I have to say, the profit will automatically come. Okay. In an organization, as an HR, or probably as a leader, we need to create a lot of networks outside and within. Within the net, within, if you have a, where in each department, if you have a bigger network, there is a organizational success. But if the focus is only on hierarchy building, or if it is only that there are hierarchy systems in there, so there can be a problematic over here. Okay, Third major point over here is that the mindset shift has to be in terms of empowering people rather than controlling and micromanaging. So micromanaging and controlling will not lead to anywhere. And more of experiment and innovation has to be there. When I say experiment and innovation, again, in small to a larger level, every kind of experiment and innovation comes in. So more of, when we say that we have a lot of meetings coming up, so the meetings are required only for planning, which is not to be done right now. It is now mostly into the strategy implementation of experimenting, because with experience or with experiments comes the experience, right? Then from top to bottom level, there has to be a transparency in all things. From there is nothing known as privacy or private or something which is like hidden, because it doesn't make sense. Over here, it will make sense when there is a kind of a transparency at all levels. Now, when I say transparency, it doesn't mean that we need to be transparent for everything. One can go and talk about their salary or anything like that. So that kind of a transparency is not talking, but it is all about that, talking about the uh, overall strategies, implementation, the vision, and all those things. So that is very much required. Next slide. So when we talk about the organization shift or the mindset shift, so what we are majorly looking at is what we'll see in the next slide. So the kind of signs, the basic and small signs of a leadership potentiality is that first point is engagement, enthusiasm, and effective communication. Why these three things are very much important is, would you even like yourself or any kind of a person, leader, who is, sitting in one cable and not understanding, not communicating, not even enthusiastic about what's happening in this world, in the organization. So, but he's at an AVP or probably a VP or a general manager role. It will not work. The future is not that bright for the person. So the potential leaders would obviously demonstrate a level of high degree of engagement with their work. When I say that there is a high degree of engagement, it is not just the KRAs that is there, but overall. Okay, there will be an engagement, and there will be a lot of questions and answers and understandings, and this only comes through experience. So the kind of experience and enthusiasm only comes through that, how okay you are. No matter you are in the experience of like 10 years, 12 years, 20 years, 25 years, that enthusiasm has to be there, the way you are have been in the first year of your working career. So that kind of a culture has to be there. And very, very important is from top to bottom, the communication part has to be very effective. And when I say the comfort, because there has to be a comfort level of talking to all levels. So it should not be that the leader should only talk to a leader. A leader should only have an understanding with the leader. There has to be a middle level management and a lower level management communication as well. So working with all these group of people is also very much required. So these three things are at a topmost point. So signs of leadership is nothing but to understanding each other and understanding the organization and making it enthusiastic altogether of working. Second most important is the resilience and the accountability. Now, when we are experiencing all these years, okay, one good thing when a leader faces is the failure part, because leader doesn't mean that you don't make any mistakes, you don't experience any kind of a negative impact. There are a lot of things that is there, but as a person, how okay you were in facing those failures, facing those challenges, and more than that you will come out of those challenges, it is actually the experience that you had, what thoughtful suggestions you had to give, what thoughtful strategy you made, and how did you come out of that. So it was more of, it is actually more, and that instead of saying that it was a failure, it was that the kind of, when we come out of some kind of a good ego and a bad ego, there has to be no ego at all when we say this, because it is all about you have done it, so it is good that you have done it, but you have also faced some failures and challenges which the other party didn't even mention. So that kind of an ego should not be there. Accountability, very well, because you own your mistakes, you own the failure, you own it, that yes, I have done this experience, I have made this experience, I have actually made that result, I have come out of those things. So that kind of an accountability, or probably the ownership, is there. Now when you have that kind of an accountability and ownership, you automatically motivate yourself to actually succeed in future. This is nothing but the kind of the feeling or the experience that you take. It comes from within, from with my experience, I would say that it comes from repeated failures that you come up with, because then only you come up with a lot of ownership and accountability, right? Third thing is the initiative and the proactiveness. Now, as I was explaining all these 2 points, the one thing that I have always mentioned is that a leader, being a great leader, is nothing but when you are facing a challenge, or when you are actually suggesting anything, first thing that comes to your mind is nothing to have a problem solving nature or a problem solving mind. Because with the problem solving mind comes everything. The attitude comes, the feeling comes, the experience comes, and obviously the result will comes. So whenever the mind comes, and it is automatically observed, and it automatically comes with, again, with experience. So that is what when you seek some kind of a challenge, or probably a scenario, the one thing that is good for the organization and for themselves is the development of the problem solving strategies. And at the same time, it is not about your own problems, it is also about the departmental problems, it is also about the organizational problems and challenges. How do you volunteer, or probably how do you develop these opportunities to make the organization become a successful in terms of giving out the solutions. Now we also look at something like, it is not probably it is not part of my KRA, or probably it is not part of my working department. So why should I help with it? But it has to be observed in a way that it is, if I do this thing, it will be in terms of the organizational success, because it's a catch 22 situation over here. When the organization grows, you will also grow. So it is not that when your department grows, the organization will go. When each and every department grows, the company also grows. So the developing the problem solving attitude comes from within, and it always comes from experience as well. So within your work and other than your area of work, it has to come from as a organizational point of view. So that's the major. So majorly the science of leadership potential is these 3 points majorly, and this comes out of the feeling. It doesn't comes out of any kind of skills or knowledge, but it actually comes out of a feeling, it comes out of the experience that is there. Next slide.
Okay, guys, this is the poll time. I would like to launch a quick poll on your screens. I'll read it out. What does empathy and motivation help future leaders develop? Independence from a team, technical expertise, trust and collaboration, strict work ethics. Please type your answers in the chat, in the poll box. Also, audience, if you have any questions you want to ask directly with the mail, we will have a dedicated Q&A session at the end of the webinar. So please type your questions in Q&A box or the chat box, so that we'll pick it up all the questions and queries at the end of the webinar. Please be ready for asking more and more questions related to leadership, and type your questions in the chat box. The poll will be closing in another 20 seconds. Over to you.
Okay, after saying all these things, so the major comes, the point is the leadership culture. Now, one must understand a very great point is that the culture of an organization uh, comes from the management. Okay, now whoever is at the top level, and when I'm saying it's not just about the top level of management, but also the people who are at top level decision making power. Okay, these are the people who are creating a culture, and when they create an organization culture based on the values and based on vision, the based on whatever the mission, it is nothing but a leadership culture. This is where the whole organization try and follows. So within, if you have an individual, if at any level, if an employee has an individual success or probably an achievement or kind of a goal, it automatically links to the organizational goal only if the culture is well built. Okay, so the leaders of the organization, one must think and create such kind of a culture and values that can be beneficial for all along with the organizational goals. Okay, because it is very, very, very simple. It comes from up to down. Okay, the cultural values and the cultural that is there, it comes from up to, from the up to down. And there is a phrase known as monkey see, monkey do. Monkey see, monkey do is that the junior level or the hierarchy at the top or the at the bottom level, they will only copy which they see from above. Okay, so the management at the top level or the senior most level, they always will see that what they are doing. So at that point of time, the leadership culture has to be in a way that what kind of a value system or what kind of a vision they are building. So very, very, very important. So this can actually help in terms of, if you can see the chart that is there, it can actually become a successful model where is the fulfillment, purpose and actualization is there. It is actually a wholesome culture. It is like when you inspire somebody, when you are creating an inspiration for somebody, this is nothing but a fulfillment of entirely. So when the kind of copying or the kind of cultural value, it only comes when you are a good listener. Okay, so when you actually hear it out, when you hear it out from all the employees, you actually create a lot of experience, and it helps in strategy building and vision building. So it is very important to have an listening skills. At the same time, there's a small secret to it. When we talk about you need to have a very good listening skills. It also talks about that it helps you in actually building the kind of value system which the employees need to hear, but it is in a way that you want to do it. You need to understand that kind of a line. Okay, again I'm repeating, you listen to all the employees, understand what they want, and there will be 2 3 points which will be at a higher point. But at the same time, how can you achieve those 3 points which will make these employees happy? Through your understanding of it is the strategy making, and it comes from experience. So the words will be the employees, but actually the values and the vision will be yours. Okay, that has to be matched. So it is a very important skill of listening skills. So it is again a good situation. Third, which is very, very important, is create a culture where there is passion, integrity and humility. And when I'm talking about passion, it is work passion. Okay, work passion in the sense that the entire culture is about how to be more, work more, and build a culture of working, and build a culture where the passion is to move ahead, to make the organization ahead. It always comes from you. So when the management does it, the all obviously the down the level, it is also copied down. Second is the integrity. The honesty should be there. Integrity and the honesty has to be there. It is not just on honesty towards anything else, but honesty towards yourself. Okay, humility over here means that it doesn't depend on the point that what is your KRA. It is beyond the KRA. If you have certain things in terms of that can be helpful for any means, like for yourself and for the organization, it has to come out immediately. It doesn't have to come at, a good level, or you need to wait for that level. Okay. Third is that at any given point of time, you need to look at the employee fitment, skills and roles and responsibility. You should not look at any employee wherein a finance person is doing an HR job, or an HR person is doing a sales job, or probably a salesperson is doing some kind of an operations job. Okay, that kind of environment should not be there. Just because there is an opening, that just because there is a understanding, there is a own reference, or there has to be some kind of pressure to hire somebody, that doesn't mean any kind of a fitment has to be there. So it is very, very important, and that's a decision where the leaders do kind of a judgment. So no matter what the position is, what the situation is, this kind of a fitment and roles and responsibilities of an employee has to be according to the skills and management and experience. Okay. Then comes the right attitude that brings right action. Again, the first slide represents this only, the kind of right attitude. If you whatever you are thinking is obviously put in action. If you don't think right, the actions are always wrong. Okay, so you need to think the right way, and which again comes through a right experience. So that is one thing. Then we need to actually follow the path of training programs. Now, leaders not should not be, if you have a 10 or 20 years of experience, again, you must think one thing is that whatever you studied in terms of building your skills and your knowledge, it was, old enough, like it's like 10 years old. So, or 15 years old. So you need to build yourself again and again to match up with the kind of innovations that are in the company or in the organization in the present. So you need to actually train yourself through the training programs. And the biggest training program, according to my experience, would be the kind of attitude change program, the mindset shift programs. Okay, because the skills and everything, even if you talk to two of your junior level people, you can understand those kind of skills. You can learn those skills, but the kind of attitude, the kind of mindset shift that is required will only come through these trainings. The more trainings, the more training development, personality development programs that you attend, you actually change yourself in terms of mind. You change yourself in terms of your speaking, in terms of your communication, in terms of your walk. You walk, actually, the kind of confidence comes in. So the major role of training programs is to create that kind of a shift in your mind. That is very much required. Next slide. Now, what kind of a training, or probably the leadership development programs that we talk about is, again, see, when we line up these kind of leadership or development programs, is it is very important that one should develop the individual for the organization. Okay, it should not be that only one part of the training program is increasing, like only the organization is increasing or only the individual is improving. Not that. It is obviously the kind of leadership programs that we actually organize in an organization for the leaders should be based on these principles, that entire the whole of the employees and the leaders, and plus the organization is growing together. Okay, so the kind of topics and the kind of assessment styles, the kind of activities that are actually, framing, it should give good results, meaningful results to the organization. Now, what comes at the level of leadership, or probably at the level of top management, most important or mostly it comes is the kind of stress level, or probably the tension level or the challenges level, because you need to take a lot of decisions. Sudden decisions, quick decisions has to be there. There has to be a proactiveness in your nature. So how all these things comes is because of the kind of environment that we build. So once we are actually mentoring or getting into that kind of a leadership program, so we need to find out that what is basically and environment is giving. Okay. So when I'm talking about the environment, so first point that is required over here is assessing the organizational needs. Okay. Because why this is important? One thing is very important that we need to find out is what is the vision of the company and where does this company is thinking to go, where the goal is, what is the probably the next 5 year plan or a 10 year plan or probably a 30 year plan. Because based on these planning, the it can come to a download vision of saying that how the organization can be or how the leaders or the people can frame out. Because with these people and with these leaders only this 30 year or 5 year or 10 year old plan can work out. So the kind of organization needs that has to be present, it has to be in a very very systematic manner. Okay. And we need to actually find out what kind of a resources are required or probably kind of linings are required, that has to be developed with the training plan. Second is that based on this assessment of any kind of organizational needs, you need to actually customize what kind of a training content has to be there. Now, these contents, again, if I have to give you an example, again, one must only focus on if this is the organizational need, how a leader or how the management should change in terms of decision making, should change in terms of experience, should change in terms of mindset, and accordingly create a training contact. There are number of people who are in the field right now who are giving such kind of trainings and such kind of support to the organizations. I would suggest everybody to frame anything to start with. One can go with one kind of a presentation and ask these people to attend these development programs to get that kind of a content and feelings. Once you get equipped with, then probably all the HRs can copy those training programs and give it month on month to get a repetitive, or probably you can actually reiterate those words. It is very very important towards that. Okay. Third is the implementing continuous learning. Again, this is one of the points that I have to say, because the culture has to be that need to give a kind of a environment where there is a scope of self improvement, where there is a scope of exploration, where there is a scope of organizational change, where there is a scope of giving a lot of advantages and opportunities to all the leaders for any kind of professional development. So first thing that an organization needs to give out for the leaders is this kind of programs. Okay. Now, when I'm talking about these kind of programs, again, it has to be in turn towards the kind of a the environment has to be in terms of acknowledging the fact that one needs to continuously get into the learning phase again and again, because whatever you learned 5 years back or 10 years back is not going to be repeated throughout your life. It has to come, it changes, the world is changing, the technology is changing, the mind is changing, the kind of people you will be working with, it will be a different kind of people altogether. So the kind of environment that has to be created should have kind of areas of knowledge, integrating learning objectives, and then probably the kind of evaluation needs to be done. Okay. Now the culture wherein, next slide please. This is a very good three letter thing, and which states empower, encourage, and uplift. These three words are nothing but a leader or probably HR in any of the organization should actually focus on only on these three things. And I request all the HR people to, probably you can fix this in all the leaders table or chairs or any cabins, that this is what the culture should be focusing on, the environmental or the organizational culture, which is empower, encourage, and uplift. Empower is nothing where, as you all know, that when you empower your juniors, you empower your people, when you empower your organization, automatically it gets back to you only. It's a positive impact towards you and to the organization. When you encourage your people around, when you encourage a lot of people, Your people, that means not just your team, but the whole of employee, say, relationship that you are there. You are actually doing nothing, but you are giving out a motivation to do more, to experience more, to encourage them towards being a successful, to learn more. So, it is very, very important to encourage. Very important, uplift. There is, the culture of controlling, the culture of, blaming, the culture of probably, even if the person has done a mistake, okay, it is very important if the other person accepts that mistake and comes to you, but your job is to uplift the person, not to scold them for the kind of mistakes or the challenges that they have faced, but it is actually to uplift these people towards facing more challenges, making mistakes, and learning through those mistakes. So these three words are very important and actually a sign for the leadership role that is there. Next slide. Now, when you go through the leadership development programs and when you have that kind of a learning attitude or probably the kind of mindset shift in the organization that is there, what is the attribute or what is the culture that a leader will have? Okay, first thing is in terms of the learning. Now, what does the first, rule of one person says? The rule of one person says that if you actually, keep on keep on changing yourself or keep on learning, you are actually working on yourself, working on your mind, working on your heart, working on your experiences. It is nothing but you are actually making, one person better than yesterday. So cumulatively at the end of the month you're 37%, being good than the last month, so which is again a good thing. So when you change yourself and change your matter in terms of anything, so it is actually being very good. So it has to be a mixture of both. You can actually just focus on skills and the mindset shift in both the terms. So it will be a better place. Second is the components should be patience, persistence, and perseverance. Again, a very, very important thing. You cannot just learn, you cannot just experience some kind of training programs and immediately think that you can actually change. You need to have that kind of a patience in yourself and continuously work throughout on those learning things, then only the results will come. And I won't say that just focus on result, because result will come some or the other, but that has to be one thing that has to continue, is that you keep on implementing those things, you become better, and the organization becomes a, creates a habitual thing that this is what the value system is. Okay. And positive environment is, the basic. I saw somewhere that how to create a positive environment. Do you really think that we can create a positive environment anyway? The first thing that needs to focus over here is these three things. One is avoid complaining, complaining, blaming, and being immoral. When a leader, or when the leaders of the organization actually focuses and continue to becoming a characteristics of these three things, automatically there will be a positive culture. Forget about any other culture, characteristics of any kind of a positive culture. Okay, the first three things comes from here only. The entire job of an organization or the entire job of a leader comes through this only. This is the basic. And one doesn't get any kind of an ego, one doesn't get any kind of a probably would say that feeling of becoming, okay, I am a leader, I can do anything, that also doesn't comes. And also it's the other way around also, I am a leader, I should be good, that will also not be coming. So if you have these things to follow, the entire ruling system or the value system changes automatically. Okay. And yes, there are certain situations wherein you are at a position, but at the same time you are not a person who can give answers, or probably you are not in a situation where you don't know the answer. It might be having a certain questions, certain, you need to check with. So it is not necessary that because you are at a position so you need to give that answer. The simple way to give an answer is that you will definitely come back on this, or I will check with the authority, if you have an authority or the management. It is very important. It is the most polite way of saying that I don't know the answer, but I will definitely get back. It is much better than giving a wrong answer or giving the wrong direction towards anybody. Very, very important. Then more knowledge and more skills, very important. Again, I'm reiterating this in this slide is you gain a lot of knowledge and skills and learn new things. It can be through anywhere. If you learn it from the team, if you learn it from somewhere else, it will be helpful for becoming a leader. Next slide. Okay, so when we talk about leadership, courage with humanness. Okay, the three things that I'm talking about in that I spoke about in the previous slide, which was being immoral or probably blame and everything. So that is a continuation of it. Now, how can we actually have a kind of a role in terms of where you can mix up courage and humanness, as well as for the people who wants to identify certain kind of leaders in the organization, these four quadrants are very, very important. Okay, I'll explain through the four quadrants, but these are the four quadrants that can actually help you out in identifying also, and for people who are in the verge of becoming a leader. Okay, what are these 4 points? Now, first point, if you see on the left hand side, which is high courage and low humanness. This is like people who you might see in an organization that will be who are always very loud. Okay, in any of the meetings or probably in the organization, who will only talk about themselves, who will talk about that. Okay, fine, they kind of are the best, they know everything, they are the ones who take all the decisions, this that. So there are too much of loud things that they have, but at the same time they lack communication, they lack kind of a connection with the people. They are not people person, they will always blame others, they will not take accountability, and plus they have all the strategy to avoid any kind of a challenge or situation. They can easily blame. Okay, this is nothing, this the kind of characteristics is what they are loud. That means they are very, very confident, they have a lot of courage. But at the same time, when they lack any kind of a people strategy over here, they when they have that, they will low humanness. A very wrong example, these people are people who can be avoided at any time. Okay, because they are not a leadership, but because when we grow them to a leadership role, they will get into the role of only blaming. So at some point of time, the management will fail or the company will fail. So these are not the people whom you should focus. Then if you come down, which is low courage and low humanness. Okay, now one thing is very much sure over here is that low courage means they don't even bother to being active. They don't even bother to be any kind of a person in the organization who can be helpful. But they are the people who will get to know about everybody. They will gossip around everybody, and they will take all the information about the organization, but will have nothing to do with that. Okay, so and they will make sure that each and every person will have some kind of a problem, and there will be no kind of a relationship with any of the people, but they always talk ill about somebody. So their only point of view is, even if you are doing good also, for them they are bad. Well, you guys are bad, you will not do anything good, you are bad in something, some work or project or anything, you'll be automatically thrown out of the organization because of their understanding. So these are the toxic people. They, if you find out such kind of people, I would say immediately take action against them and just avoid them from the organization. Just ask them to go. Okay, then comes low courage and high humanness. Now these people are also very, very not good for the company. Now why this is like, because they will be very, very much into connecting with people. They will be people pleasers. They will be like, whatever the you are going to say, I will do it, I will help you out it. Such kind of kind of environment is also not required. Somebody who is like okay with every kind of situation, somebody who is like saying okay and yes sir, yes ma'am to everything that is given, somebody who is like, just to avoid any kind of a conflict, they always, take the charge up and they say that, okay, fine, I have done the mistake, I will only do it. That kind of a profile is also not good. They will be, probably somebody who can not face the world, plus, but at the same time, just pull them down themselves and face in the name of any kind of a low confidence, in the name of any kind of low courageous, and they will always say that, okay, fine, I am the one to be blamed, I am the one who has done everything, but that is okay, I will come over with it. That kind of a profile is also not required. They are not the kind of leaders that we require in an organization. What kind of a leaders are required in the organization is the last point, which is high courage and high humanness. Now, this kind of a profile is that, you are confident, you are courageous, wherein you are in a meeting of like 10 to 15 people, in a leadership meeting, or probably in a meeting with the team. You are basically listening to everybody, but at the same time, you have the confidence in giving out the solution. You are giving out any kind of challenges. You are happy to help them out. You are happy to give out any kind of a problem solving solution as well, and bring out the strategies over there without making anybody feel bad about it, without making, without, avoiding any kind of that, those three things that are important, which is encourage, uplift, and empower. These things are also very important. So it is like not the junior or I'm the senior. It is basically, you are also part of this group, you are also part of this organization, you are also part of this team. It's your responsibility equally, it is my responsibility. So they work as a same level partnership, and then they work. Such kind of, leadership characteristics is required in an organization, and more of it should be built in a way. Immediately you need to acknowledge such kind of a people and work towards it, and try to retain them, try to make work with them, take help from them to build other teams as well, to become a role model like this. Next slide. Next, yeah.
Okay, guys, I'll be launching a quick poll. I have pasted one link. There is a poll running in our LinkedIn page. So you can click on this link in a chat box so that you will be directly redirect to the poll in a LinkedIn. I have pasted a link in a chat box. Click on the link and you'll be redirected to the LinkedIn poll. I'll read it for you. How can an organization develop future leaders? Mentorship and coaching, self-development, limited opportunities, focus on career current leaders. Please click on the link in a chat box and you will be redirected to the LinkedIn poll. We can already see good response in the LinkedIn for the poll. Go on, guys. Yes, Miss Tamanna. Okay, I think everyone is done. The next slide. Over to you, ma'am.
Yeah. So basically, when I spoke about the leadership and courageous and being the humanness characteristics, what all these, characteristics talks about, how to build in terms of the organization point of view. So for organizations who want to build leaders where humanness and courage are considered high variables for collaboration and performance, one should always consider to developing your future leaders, again through mindset shifting, through trainings, through skills and development. Very, very important. Second thing is care consistently. And when I'm talking about caring this consistently, it is very important to understand that, which is where the listening skills. Okay, it's all about them listening and giving out the opportunities to what they're asking. Then be a source of inspiration. Now, for leaders, who are the inspiration? Obviously, the management is the inspiration. Okay, so again, I have seen somewhere I in the during the chat that HRs don't have HRs. So who are the person who are actually in terms of inspiring? So for HRs also, there would be somebody whom you are reporting to. So obviously, these people are the ones who are actually inspiring and being a source of inspiration altogether. So these are the people who are at the CEO level or probably the VP level, and they have certain kind of experience and they have certain kind of um, you know uh, they have got an inspiration from somewhere or the other and built such kind of an organization. So your inspiration should come from there. So whoever is your leader, whoever you are reporting to, you need to find out such kind of a source of inspiration. Fourth, listen actively. No matter at what level you are, you need to not just listen to the environment, but you need to listen to yourself as well. What is the requirement that is there in yourself? Okay, and what is the requirement that is at this challenging phase or probably in the entire organization that is there? Find out, bring it out to the management, and come you need to communicate it through that. So listening and actively working on it is also required. Be present in the moment. Okay, so be present in the moment is like it is very very important to have a characteristics of being present. Why? Because we tend to whatever new policy or probably whatever new strategy, even if a person is attending any kind of a training also, the first thing that comes into one's mind is, oh, my organization or probably my management doesn't think like that, or probably my organization doesn't work like that. Not at all. Being in the present means that when you are attending a training also, understand what the training is all about. Understand that how these things can be implemented in your organization. Understand that what can be placed. Okay, this is very very important. Not that what has been happening, why you are attending this training, why you are listening to this. There must be some reason behind all these things. These things are only required to implement. So you need to be present. You should not go back to the past, that what has been running since then. Okay, then encourage courage. Always very important. Don't demotivate people. If you cannot do things, that doesn't mean the other person cannot. If there is somebody who is like from front, people are saying that these are the strategies, these are the policies that can be done, that doesn't mean that you only should be you cannot you should demotivate that person. You should give that confidence. You should encourage that person to come forward and speak about it. You will only get some solutions. Okay, promote authenticity. Very very important. Innovation is very much required. That kind of a mindset has to be there. Be passionate about the vision, because no matter what work you do, that vision or the value system that has to be kept in mind. Without you cannot say that I will go like this because my vision is like this. No, a leader says your my vision is also the same as the organization. If you have certain points, communicate, talk about it, and then you will understand why those values and value system or the probably the vision is there. Okay, walk the talk. Whatever you are saying, whatever you want to think, whatever good things that try to implement those things, trying to have a kind of an inspiring nature to the team. You need to follow that kind yourself, then only as the person in your team or probably the organization to follow. Lead with emotional intelligence, then display competence. Now these 2 points are very important. You have to show that kind of a humanness to people. Otherwise, there will be nothing. You won't be. Yeah, try to find out before blaming on others, before blaming on any of the organization. Try to see whether you are following such things or not. If you are not following, then there is no means of following or probably even giving any kind of an observation to anybody. Right. Next slide. So leader's not a boss. Again, these are certain things that is there, which I actually discussed in the previous, the first slide itself. It is a kind of leaders actually need to focus on inspiring, motivating, guiding the team towards success. They need to follow or perform certain things whether people are happy to get into the growth phase. So it is not just about, the what is the major difference that is there. Again, reiterating again, is the mindset shift, because a boss will always focus on oriented. And when you focus on only orientation, then that means the mindset has not shifted. When you focus on the working, when you focus on the vision, when you focus on the values, when you focus on the people, the result will come automatically, right? Then you automatically understand the people, and you understand, you trust these people, they empower them, you make them courageous, you make them learn, and you respect them, and you give out the opportunities, whatever opportunities you have the listening skills, you give the team all kinds of credit, everything that is there. So automatically, what is the kind of culture that you're building a culture where is a vast opportunity of growth. And through this, the organizational goal, the organizational success, your individual success, your performance, your team performance, everything comes into the place. So the kind of mindset shift has to be not a boss is nothing. If even if your team member is calling you a boss, ask them to change the word boss. Okay, you are a leader, so you need to have that kind of a change. Very, very important. Next slide. Now, as a leader, how can you give a very good feedback? Okay, you cannot try, when we say that you cannot blame, we cannot, but we know that somebody has done some mistake. So how can you give kind of a feedback? So you can build a team with good skills and talent, which is very good in terms of being a very highly appreciable person. Small things, small appreciative, by saying thank you, by saying that well done, by saying that you did a very good, you were better than last time, you did a good work in this challenging phase, you helped it out. Small things will actually give you an inspiration. You give the motivation level is high. Okay. Then second thing is then unexpected appreciation. Now that doesn't mean that, oh, you are a leader that never gives an appreciation. One fine day you are giving an appreciation, so it's an unexpected appreciation. That can be one part, but that should not be the culture. That unexpected appreciation is that your team is not expecting any kind of a competition or probably any kind of a good work or anything, but still it is appreciated. But still it is the, small things, like even if the person, the team member is following some values, following some good vision, or working towards that performance, working towards that, the person is uplifting, encouraging, or empowering some other person, appreciate. It is an unexpected appreciation. Okay. Then comes the sandwich approach. What is the sandwich approach? Very good. Okay, rather than directly saying, oh, you are the person who has done this mistake, you are negative, you are this, that. No, there has to be, first the conversation should start with a positive approach. You do this, these are the good things that you do, but at the same time you can be better in this things. And when you do better on this thing, then you will be better, very better in this, you'll be excellent in such things. This is a sandwich approach where the negative or the challenging thing comes in between two positive things. There has to be a sandwich approach. Okay. Fourth point is the M2M approach. M2M means man to man approach. No feedback should be given, whether it is, especially it is a bad, it has to be towards a secretive approach. It should not be within of the big forum. That big forum can be, a good feedback. It has to be in towards M2M, because you should not be insulting. Team recognition should be there. When I say team recognition, whether you have a 1% team, 2% team, 3% team, or more, it had the team appreciation should be there as a whole in towards the organization. If you are sitting in a floor and your department is of 3% or 2%, why don't you just announce it on the group, probably on the floor itself, that you are, my team did this very small thing, very, very small thing. Again, switch captain, what does it mean? So people who are doing projects, and probably you have project holders, and you have teamwork more of, you can actually appoint captains for a particular project. And if that captain is doing good, and somewhere it is very doing excellent, you just gave a probably an experience, or probably an opportunity to the person to become a leader and make a decision making. Then again, for the next project or some work, switch a captain, appoint a new captain towards it. You'll again train that person towards a leadership role, right? So I hope that such small little things will help in building you yourself as a leader, and for leaders to identify the leaders in your organization. But before that, implement these things, apply these things, and then identify the leaders. Yeah. Next slide.
Okay, audience, this Q&A session, if you have any questions, if you want to ask, you can directly type in the chat box, or you can type in your Q&A box that is provided in the options. We'll take it up, few of the questions from chat box, ma'am.
Yeah.
How can an HR manager foster a strong leadership with leader? Ma'am, can you
What's
able to,
the question? Sorry. Yeah.
I will
Can you
read it out.
repeat the question, please?
How can an HR manager foster a strong relationship with leader?
HR, HR is actually the point of contact for all the leaders, because you need to understand that okay, so it all depends on the structure of your company. And when I'm saying the structure of the company, when you are at the HR role, that means you know everything about the employees. And when you know everything about the employees, you are the person who is actually giving out the kind of suggestions and strategies and policies to the leadership management. So you're the point of contact for the for the management. So you are a part of yourself for the management itself. So the kind of leadership goal and everything that is there, you are a part of that kind of.
Okay. Another question. It is said that leaders are born rather than made. What is the percentage of improvement that can be achieved in leadership?
I'm not able to read those. Can you tell me where is the question?
Uh, in a chat box, ma'am. It is by Colonel Hariprasad.
Yeah.
Above my LinkedIn message, LinkedIn link.
Yeah. So
Above my LinkedIn
yeah,
link.
it is said that leaders are born rather than made. What is the percentage of improvement that can be achieved in leadership? It was stated in my one of the slide that if you actually help yourself, train yourself, and build yourself 1% every day, and you know where you are lacking or where do you want to go to, so you need to perform that kind of a identify that kind of a gap, identify what kind of knowledge and skills are required for yourself, work upon it, increase yourself 1% daily, so you can actually improve yourself. Leaders are born, but at the same time, to be on the field and to work on it, you need to improve yourself and to actually build your skills. So for that, you need to yourself find out, identify the gap and work on it.
We have some other questions, recent questions, ma'am. How to crack interview?
Oh, it's an altogether a different webinar then.
Yes, yes.
Hmm.
Uh, Another one, as a HR, how to handle conflict between two potential leaders who are identified for the same role?
Plus and minuses. When you are comparing, there will be plus and minuses. Obviously, when you do an interview also, there are two candidates who are very good, but still you have one person who is doing better. So in the same way, for the leaders, it's the same thing.
Also, audience, if you directly want to ask or talk directly with the ma'am, you can raise the hand so that I can enable your mic. Audience, if you have any questions to ask directly with the ma'am, you can raise the hand so that I can enable your mic. After that, we can wind up the webinar session. Okay, Miss Tamanna Sharma, Tamanna Verma. Yes, Tamanna, you can unmute your mic and you can.
Yeah, just give me a second, right? I have just enabled my mic, right? So I do have a question. Uh, Recently I've been facing a lot of, problem. Like I put a question also regarding the culture thing, right? So when ma'am said that the HRs are the only spokesperson between the management and the employees, right? So when you are stuck between the employees and the management, and management is not able to understand then what to do, how to put your points. And even if you are trying to put the points, then they are thinking that no, she is not right. What to do in that situation?
So Tamanna, can you tell me what is your position in the organization?
My position is HR manager, ma'am.
Okay, and you are reporting to somebody in HR?
I am the only core HR because it's an MSME organization, a 6-year-old organization, and I directly report to the management.
Okay. So I understood why there was a reason behind why I wanted to ask you certain these questions. See, in a very small organization, understand one thing, the values, the vision it's not concrete. It keeps changing. You might have observed it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so when it keeps changing, so that means, the down the line, whatever strategies or whatever policies you are creating or probably suggestions you are creating, it is only an experiment. So first of all, even if you give out that kind of a strategy or probably suggestion or anything, you need to tell yourself, this is not the full stop. This is again, it is going to be pros and cons and all those things are there. So first thing first is the management should decide what is the value system or the vision. The goal, what is it? What is the goal? If that is not finalized, then nothing can be done. So you don't feel downward, or probably you don't have to feel that, oh, my this thing is not getting answered, or probably my strategies are not getting implemented. They feel that they were wrong. You will feel wrong because they are also not, they are not putting any full stop towards it. You need to do your job. Whatever strategy, whatever vision you are in, you have a point towards it. That's it. But you don't have to feel downward that, oh, my point is not taken.
Right, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ramana. Guys, any other questions? Okay, I think we can wind up, ma'am. Guys,
Yeah.
you will be receiving a post-webinar mailer, including the recording of this webinar and the presentation deck with all the resources that is present in this webinar. And I will be conducting a poll for the next topic. Probably we'll take this work from home or from office topic from the one of the audience, and we'll let you know when will be the next webinar. We'll send you a post-webinar mailer including all the details. Thank you, audience. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Pawan. Thank you, everyone.